Season 3, Chapter 1, Bahrain Grand Prix. Malachi Wilson has finally reached his dream. He lines up on the grid for the 2024 Bahrain Grand Prix as a Scuderia Ferrari driver. Now it's time to get back to work for the new season, but it will not be easy. AlphaTauri in particular looks strong, having locked out the front row, but whether the Brit can keep up with them is the real question.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round one of this year's Formula One World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best at turn 1 of course, and then another soon into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into the tight left-hander of turn 10. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Pierre Gasly lines up on pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Wilson, Verstappen, Valtteri Bottas and Norris, Perez, Hamilton, Giovinazzi and Carlos Sainz, Ocon, Stroll, Nikita Mazepin and Russell, Eilert, Latifi, Daniel Ricciardo and Guan Yu Zhou, Mick Schumacher and Yuki Tsunoda. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Here we go then, about to get underway in Bahrain. 5 lights on ahead of the drivers for the first race of 2024. Lights out and away we go, and it's a great start from Charles Leclerc on the right hand side as the two AlphaTauris charge side by side down towards that first corner. Malachi Wilson lurking in the distance, trying to go for a move on the inside, but there goes Leclerc into the first corner, and Charles Leclerc on his debut for AlphaTauri takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix as Gasly holds off Wilson behind them. Here they go now, the run down towards turn 4. Leclerc with a decent advantage over the Frenchman and the Brit, who are going side by side in towards that right-hander. Wilson should get the edge around the outside on this occasion. What a start from the Monegasque. Here they come now, Wilson pushing the snot out of Leclerc as they race their way up to the end of Sector 2 and the start of Sector 3. Wilson's going to go for it here, and Malachi Wilson, who's also on his debut here tonight, takes the race lead for Ferrari as they charge their way down towards that last corner. There's still a long way to go in this Grand Prix, but if things go Malachi's way, I can definitely see him taking his second career win here tonight on his debut for the Tifosi. End of lap number 8 now. Here comes Malachi Wilson, the race leader, in for his first stop, going on to a set of tyres. Let's see how far he into the Grand Prix can carry them. Right, here we go then. Malachi Wilson making his way out of the plane. It's been a decent start to his debut for Ferrari so far, because we've been one of the first few leaders to make the stops. Making on the first one to a set of medium tyres. We almost hit Nicholas Latifi's Williams there on the run towards that first corner, and that could have been our race over right then there. We've got our objective first of the news, and that's to retake the top spot and work our way back up to the first position. Of course, once the pit stop cycle out, we should be in the lead. Then we'll have to defend it from Gasly over the course of the rest of this second stint. So regardless of chasing Latifi here, the Williams trying to make a move on the running outside if we can, going up the hill towards the end of Sector 2. We've got past Latifi, so that's one place down. I'm going to try and go for Ricciardo on the inside if we can. We're going to go right to the inside. We'll get squeezed a little bit. I doubt the Australian knew we were there, so we're all good on that front. We managed to find our way through. No damage done whatsoever to our car or to his. So that's us having to P14, and we're now chasing Callum Milot. So it's going to be very tight here as Carlos Sainz, our new teammate, makes his way into the pits for his first stop of the Grand Prix. And Callum Milot is our next target in the Aston Martin. We're chasing him up front. This is the start of his second season, the start of our third. Here we go now down that main straight, looking to the right hand side, going down towards that first corner. Going to breeze past him. This Ferrari engine definitely doing its job, and make our way through without issue, and that's us up into P12 here on lap number 10 of this Bahrain Grand Prix. There's still a long way to go. We've got a lot of time to catch leaders, so got to keep patient, keep the race as it's going. Pushing to the end of lap number 10 now. Russell's in front of us. He would have been our next target if he was pulling off into the pits. So we've got a lot of places being gained there. He set the fastest lap of the race on those medium tyres. Up into P6 now. A lot of guys up front making stops. And our next target now is Nikita Mazepin, who is on his return to F1 today, after of course we took his seat at the very start of this series. And now here we go, battling him, going through sector number 2, and a dive to the inside of the Alpine and get the job done, going into the left-hander, and actually was P5 secure. And now we begin chasing Charles Leclerc in the AlphaTauri. As we push on to lap number 12 though, we managed to go back up into P2 because a lot of drivers have pitted by this point. So, and now Pierre Gasly, the race leader in the pits, of course the driver we were battling in the early stages of the Grand Prix. He was the one we left battling right at the end before we made that first pit stop in the opening cutscene. So here we go now down the main straight. We should be able to get Gasly here as we go over the line to begin lap number 13 of the Grand Prix. And we do have him here. We retake the race lead down in towards that first corner. And so Gasly will come out a good 3 seconds or so behind us. So we've got a little bit of advantage. We've gone wide at turn 1. We're still trying to get to grips with this Ferrari, so we're still struggling a little bit. So that's something to watch out for. As we come to the end of lap number 14 now, and the start of lap 15, Gasly is closing that gap now. The gap is only 1.2 seconds, and they've got a strategy change coming in here. Just a change in what lap we put onto the fresh set of soft tyres. We're going to change that to lap 21. So that's 1 lap later than the initial lap, which was lap 20. So Gasly has gone wide in turn 1, has made up a lot of time there. He's now within a couple tenths of us as they make our way down towards turn 4. There's a yellow flag over in sector 3, not sure what that's about. That's one of the Williams cars starting up as Gasly looked to the inside briefly, but moved back into line as Latifi is our first retirement of 2024. Unfortunately for him, but we've got to keep going regardless because of our situation up front. We're just trying to hold off this AlphaTauri for the time being. But Gasly's going to have DRS to make our way down this next straight, going into the left-hander. He's on our inside. That's give him the space. He's got a bit wide off our line. There's contact there. Gasly almost drove into the side of our car there. And that could have been detrimental to both our races. They were over on the curb, so we've got to force him out because we didn't want to spin on the curb because those curbs are lethal in this game. So pushing past Latifi there, who's gone over at the side and out of the race. Gasly's still closing back in on us though. We're using the ERS to our advantage here. We're going off the track there, so we've got to get back onto the racing surface. But Gasly's on our inside here, so once again we've got to give him the space off the last corner, but we should get the better traction. Not over yet though. Here we come down the main straight. Gasly's got DRS as he retakes the leaders at this point that we're behind him. I have to give you guys a crucial fact, and that is that we've got a DRS fault on our car that happened a few laps ago, but I purposefully held that information from you. So as Gasly takes the lead here, we're going to have to use our ERS only in order to keep us in it here. So they've got no DRS coming up despite us being within 1 second of the leader. So here we go though, on the right hand side of the ERS is working just fine. I doubt Gasly's using his. We're on the inside, we're able to take the lead anyway. And that's just to show you how strong the Ferrari is, even compared to the AlphaTauri, how strong it looked in qualifying, because we're still able to hold off Gasly and try and retake the lead from him. But at the end of lap number 16, start lap 17, he's going to take the lead back from us as we make our way back towards turn 1. He's got the lead there. We're going to have to duck all the way to the right hand side of the track. At the inside line going into that first corner, going to outbrake him as well. So there we go, then back up into the top spot for the time being. Gasly on those medium tyres, still pushing all the way. Of course, his tyres are a bit fresher than ours. We've managed to get the better traction off of turn number 2 as we get the lead back from the Frenchman. So this battle looks to be over just for the moment. So it's definitely not over. Gasly's still right there. So as we continue pushing on, we come to the end of lap number 20 now. Gasly's about 8 tenths behind. He's still within DRS range. We've got our message coming here. We've got pit on this lap number 21 to make our final stop of the Grand Prix. I'm assuming that the team know what they're doing on that front, because of course we normally try to employ a 1-stop when we go to Bahrain to start the season off, but we're going for a 2-stop today. So like I say, I'm assuming the team know what they're doing in terms of strategy. But of course, if real life needs to go by, then we could be in serious trouble here. Regardless, I'm going to trust the team. It's our first race, and we really shouldn't be disobeying them. So they'll come in for our second stop of the race. I'm assuming that Gasly will maybe come in for a stop later on, although he might stay out to the end. There's always a chance of that. But we're going to be on a fresh set of soft tyres here in the late stages, so it's going to have to be enough for us to hold on. We'll just try and make as many places as we can further in toward the end of this last stage of the Grand Prix. We're losing places here as expected. And our objective is here. Our objective has been updated, and that is to chase the leaders and finish in 3rd place or higher. So we want a podium here on our debut for Ferrari. We come out in 8th place. We've got Charles Leclerc, who of course was leading earlier on the Grand Prix at the very start. He's now fallen back to 7th place. So we've got work to do in order to chase him down. He's good 2 seconds or so up the road. According to the end of lap number 22, Charles Leclerc is right in front of us. The Monegasque, our first target in this charge to get back up into the top 3. And a duck to the inside from a long way back, going down into the final corner. Very audacious on the brakes, and that should be us secure. And our DRS fault is now been fixed, so we are now up to speed as Leclerc comes back at us on the right hand side. There's not over yet. He's got the DRS to his advantage, or that's because of Hamilton up front. Of course, we've got DRS and we're using our ERS as well. Since turn 1, he backs out, and we do have the upper hand on this occasion. We've lost control of the car there very squirrely out of turn 1, and we've lost all that time to Hamilton now. We've still got the ERS and DRS to work through our advantage, but we've lost a decent amount of time, so we have to get that back. But here we go though. This is a couple corners later. We've got a decent couple of corners there, and we're going to go to the inside of Lewis, and there we go, up into P6, so that's all good. Now we're chasing the two McLarens of Lando Norris and Antonio Giovinazzi. Of course, Norris was a title contender last season before things fell apart from in Abu Dhabi. He was leading the way, and this isn't really the start to his second attempt at really trying to take the crown in Formula 1. Regardless, we're chasing him now, so we should be a threat to him. Here we go to the inside. We've been squeezed a little bit there because we did go quite late. Regardless, Norris backs out, so we're up into P5. So we're only 2 places away now from clearing the chapter. Giovinazzi is right there in front of us. He's our next target. Side by side now as we go over the corner. We've managed to get a really good exit. We're going side by side. There's a bit of contact, a bit of bump in there. This feels like a real rush moment. And McLaren and Ferrari going down the straight. And there we go though. Through the last corner, get to the inside of him. And now we're just 1 car away with 6 laps to go. We've got plenty of time. So I doubt that we'll see any trouble on that front. But Giovinazzi trying to come back at us. We're using the DRS to our advantage here. I'm not sure if he has any. I don't think he actually does when I look at it. So there we go then, using the ERS and DRS into turn number 1. And we're all good for P4. So we're going to try and pull away now as we push further on into lap 24. Perez is still right there in front of us. He's only 3/10 now as opposed to being a couple seconds in front. These soft tyres yet to lose their snaps. We've got to go to the inside, similar to how we used Norris earlier. We managed to hold on to things here. Perez is going there. I'm going to go around the outside of him. Perez backs out. We did sort of squeeze him towards the apex a little bit. And we've got 5 laps to go now. But we are now up in the top 3. We've now got to chase Verstappen. He's our next target. Going on to lap number 26. A couple more laps to go. The gap now 5 seconds. We've made a bit of a mistake there going into turn 10. But there's a yellow flag now in front of us. Not quite sure what that's about. I'm not sure if that's one of the back markers or what. I get the feeling it might be the Dutchman though, because the yellow flags are following him. And it does look like for the second year in a row, Max Verstappen going into Bahrain as the reigning world champion is out of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Very unfortunate for him. It does push us up into second place though. And so that'll give us even further protection in the way of clearing the chapter. So that's really good news for us here. So as we push further on onto the final lap, we were unable to reel in Gasly. Of course, it's been a very solid race for us, but I do feel like the strategy has kind of let us down a little bit because we probably could have held on to things with just the 1 stop. But regardless though, I'll happily take a second place to start things off because we could not deny this man, the Frenchman Pierre Gasly, our former teammate, who makes his way off the final corner to take the season opener, the Bahrain Grand Prix. The win goes to him, the spoils go to him tonight. So we make our way up the final corner. Great debut for Ferrari. Over the lines, take P2. But regardless, in a race, I feel like we really could have been winning. But it is still chapter clear. So that's always a good way to kick the season off. So AlphaTauri, then are your winners. Of course, the team very happy with their performance. Of course, our former team, and the only thing that's clear is that Aston, that is the force that we helped to create. And they're now sort of on top, if you will. They've had a great season opener. Of course, Leclerc fell back earlier in the race. Then, well, Gasly stayed solid and fresh through to the end, so he may be the main contender for AlphaTauri this season. Regardless, so he is the winner, taking the 2nd victory of his career. We come home in 2nd place. Of course, that 2nd victory of our career just about eluded us, but you can definitely bet your bottom dollar we'll be coming for more victories, at least more chances of victory throughout the course of this 2024 season, and maybe, just maybe, it could be the World Championship for Malachi Wilson as well. So have a look now at your final results, the top 10 before we sign off. Pierre Gasly wins the race then. We come home in 2nd place, another podium. Perez in 3rd. Antonio Giovinazzi beats Lando Norris for 4th. Lewis Hamilton in 6th place. Charles Leclerc 7th on his debut for AlphaTauri. We definitely have a better debut on that front. Valtteri Bottas in 8th. Carlos Sainz, our teammate, comes home in 9th. Not the best of starts for him. And Esteban Ocon rounds out your top 10. So guys, that is the end of the video, the end of the Season 3 opener. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, share and subscribe. Check out the playlist if you're new. And with that, see you guys next time. Goodbye. 2nd place in the opening round is a great way to debut for the famous red team, but Malachi Wilson feels it could have been the race win. One thing is clear at least, and that is that he will spend this season attempting to beat a force he helped create in AlphaTauri to the World Championship.